which is day 38. We got 4 days left. We don't know when the fourth day is going to end, considering it's not based on the clock, it's based on legislative day. So I could tell y'all by maybe at 2 o'clock Friday afternoon, or I could tell you at 2 o'clock Saturday morning, or 5 o'clock Saturday morning. Just hang in there and enjoy the ride. I'm going to ask Chairman Jaspers if he'd open us with prayer. Thank you.
So let's all bow our heads together, please. Heavenly Father, thank you for another day to do your work. Please, Lord, be around us, be amongst us, and be with us as we make great decisions and mighty decisions for our state. And please surround us with love for one another and others' ideas and sharing. And please keep us healthy and keep us well, and do this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Is the doorkeeper awake back there? Do we have anybody outside? All right. Well, it shows you how many times you've been here this week.
Absolutely. Mr. Chairman, how are you?
I'm good. Which one you got?
I'm pitch hitting for Senator Jones, SB 342, LC 392480.
Okay.
A few years ago, somehow through some legislation, the volunteer firefighters got messed up and got lumped in with full-time firefighters. If you live outside of 285, you know that we depend greatly upon men and women who work jobs who are our volunteer firemen, and we're losing them at great rates because they cannot do the standards, the education, the fitness test that full-time firefighters do. And what this bill does is takes them back to their, I hate to say old, but the old way that they used to be classified as volunteer firefighters.
Okay. Who's got the button pushed? Mr. Williams, that's you? Okay. Chairman Fleming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Rhodes, it's my understanding that because of this, I guess you could say somewhat inadvertent classification that you just mentioned that we did, the volunteer fire departments have had a very difficult time recruiting new members and sometimes retaining the ones that they have. And the purpose of this is to, if I understand it correctly, is to help probably try to change that trend that we're having right now because they are so important to more rural areas. Is that correct?
You're absolutely correct, Mr. Chairman. Just to give y'all an example, one of our 50-year veterans that knows every nook, cranny, pipe about everything in the city of Greensboro, 74 years old, and all he did now was drive the truck, but he was there because he knew all the equipment, he knew every pipe, and he can't even do that now, based on the current standards that they're upheld to.
Okay. All right, 64. Who's that? We got a couple of people in the back, 64 and 65, that's pushed their button. Well, Horatio and then Chairman Martin, is your button pushed? It is not, sir. Okay. Okay. Well, no more questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Well, look at here. You better turn around and take a look.
Mr. Chairman, what an honor it is to be with you this morning.
Well, you know, he came in my office the other day and just groveling something awful.
The older I get, the more I get. I'm a gripey old man, as I've been told.
Wait till you get as old as me. So.
Well, some people will say the way to start your morning is a cup of coffee. The best way to start my morning is to be here in front of the House Rules Committee. So,
and we appreciate that, and we are honored to have you. So present your bill, please, sir.
Thank you. This is Senate Bill 344. It's a video conference for proceedings regarding judicial post and pre-court, in other words, for mainly inmates and people that may be incarcerated. As you know, it's quite expensive for the prison in Ware, Georgia, to have two corrections officer drive an inmate all the way to Walker County, perhaps, for legal proceedings. This will save millions of dollars. There's also ways for confidential conversation by video conferencing, too, for the lawyer and the inmate or the person incarcerated. Now, the judge has the ability, he's in charge, he or she can have that prisoner driven all the way to the court if that's what they choose. But this will save the department lots of money and also make sure their constitutional rights are protected too.
Okay, anybody have a question? Oh, yeah, we got one. Chairman, Mr. Rogers.
Senator Mullins, Mr. Rules Chairman, is it probably not a fair assumption to say that what we're doing is bringing the court system into what we were all been dealing with for about the last 3 or 4 months, the technology that's available to us?
That's true, and they're a pilot project that's still going on and has been very successful.
So this may be something that might continue and save costs in the long run.
Absolutely, and thank you for that question. And also, Mr. Chairman, this has nothing to do with the trial. This is all the proceedings and post and I've never been in trouble, so I don't know how the court system works.
I think it's a great bill. Thank you, sir.
So you're not speaking with firsthand information, right?
No, sir, no, sir.
Okay.
Representative Hatchett kind of guided me through this process because of his experience, but
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Leader Trammell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, thanks. Thanks for being here this morning. I just want to clarify, this is not a consent provision, so it doesn't require the consent of the defendant. This would force defendants to appear even if they wish to appear in person. Is that correct?
Well, maybe so, but we don't think that'll happen much. And of course, as in any court proceeding, the judge is in charge, and if he or she wants, or if they petition him or her for them to be there in person, then he has the ability to allow that.
Another question?
And I appreciate that answer, but if the judge decides it's not up to the defendant at the end of the day, the defendant doesn't have a right to appear in person if this bill were to pass.
It is the judge's discretion, and I would say if in the other side, like if you would allow the defendant to be the one that makes the decision or his lawyer, I would say that'd be a gamesmanship. It would not be about what's best for the state of Georgia or maybe even the defendant. I think that would just be a little act of trying to manipulate the court system. That's what I feel.
Okay. Well, Senator, that's all the questions I see. Don't stay away so long.
Well, I hope to be back soon, but I have a few bills that hadn't seemed to made it on the sheet yet.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure they will, and be glad to help the members of your committee with my little old committee upstairs if I can be of service.
Well, we appreciate the hard work y'all do and letting all of our bills out.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Lewis, who's next? Where are you going? Mm-hmm.
I had a small present to give to the chairman.
Okay.
I guess I'll do that later.
He accepts all gifts, so go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Rules Committee, it's not on your consideration calendar, but the Governmental Affairs voted out SB 413. This would be an amendment to the Open Meetings Law to allow for public hearings during an emergency situation, as long as they're done by teleconference and the public has access to that meeting. And I hope to have that to you for the next your next Rules Committee meeting.
Okay. See no questions. Thank you, sir. Mr. Rogers, do you want to ask a question? No, I just want to ask about something. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, let's wait till after the meeting. Ms. Lewis, let the next person in. Thank you. Well, look at here. You probably do have the record for attendance here.
Maybe not my last time either, Mr. Chairman, but thank you. This is Senate Bill 381, which is a Department of Agriculture bill. and it regards food safety, and it allows the department to make a 2088 agreement with the Food and Drug Administration that will protect federal grants and allow Georgia to be notified about food outbreaks.
Okay. Well, I see no questions. Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am. Well, you've been here a lot too.
I have, Mr. Chairman.
Are you a short termer, or because it seems like some of you senators over there, like Mr. Ligon, is every time you turn around, he's up there. Go ahead.
No comment on the short comment.
Okay.
I'll hold off on that, Mr. Chairman. I believe it's first on the sheet, hopefully first in your hearts. Senate Bill 211. Senate Bill 211 passed out of House Ag. We worked on that over the last year with all the interested parties, and I believe we have come up with a very good compromise. It seeks to address the issue of truth in labeling and making sure that consumers know what they're buying, especially when it comes to meat products.
See no questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate your consideration.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. How y'all doing today? I have a couple bills that I mentioned to you last week, SB 370 and SB 371, dealing with railroad easements. That would be where the broadband was coming across their railroad easements. This language would simply require the EMCs to follow all of the safety protocols and regulations that they already have in their documentation with the Class 1 railroads. All parties are in agreement with that. And let's see, the other one is the railway freight plan. This bill would simply put a rail program together. GDOT, it does not fund anything. There's no funding in the budget for this, but it does set forth a rail plan to be able to get freight across our state and get trucks off our roads. We need to rely more on our Class 1 railroads in Georgia. This would instruct the DOT to create that plan and then come back to the General Assembly in future years and ask for funding for that necessary plan to be implemented.
Okay, I see no questions on either one.
I also have SB 159 I don't see on the blue sheet, but it's simply the bill dealing with the scooters that we've dealt with here for 2 years now. This is a bill that simply gives local control to regulating the scooter industry. Our bill is simple. It's a small document that just codifies what a scooter is. It puts it in statute, and it allows for the local governments to govern those accordingly.
No questions. Thank you, sir.
Can I ask for one other bill? It's not
Yes,
mine.
sir.
It's,
Go ahead.
Senator Kennedy is our caucus chairman. He is conducting our
He
caucus
sent me
meeting.
a text just then, so go ahead and present his.
SB 373 deals with the nonprofit and the judgment ruling legislation we passed a couple years ago. The EMCs were left out of that inadvertently, and so SB 373 will add in the EMC boards as nonprofit boards to be under that same statute. I believe Representative Matt Hatchett's familiar, and Representative Beth Beskin is carrying that bill for you all in the House.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Have a good day.
Hold on. Bonnie Rich is carrying it. Okay. Ms. Lewis, is there anyone else? Okay, that concludes our presentations from our senators. We'll go ahead and set the calendar for Wednesday, day 38. Senate Bill 288. Do I hear a move? All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Senate Bill 301. Do I hear a move? All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. I think I'm going to have to get that thing we got buttons to push so I can see who's voting or who's just sitting there. All right, Senate Bill 321. Do I hear a move? And I hear a second? Okay, all in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Okay, got one no, two noes. Okay, Senate Bill 321's on. Senate Bill 335. Got a move, got a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Senate Bill 342. Got a move and a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Senate Bill 344. Got a move and a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Got one no? Okay. It's on. Senate Bill 370. Got a move and a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Senate Bill 371. Got a move and a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Okay. Chairman Tanner, why didn't you move that we do those? You were carrying them, weren't you? Oh, you did? Okay. You got to speak up. Oh, okay. All right. Need to speak up. Okay. All right. Senate Bill 429. I hear a move and a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Okay, I'm going to read those out again to you. They're all under modified structure, so we'll be sure we're all on the same page. Senate Bill 288, Senate Bill 301, Senate Bill 321, Senate Bill 335, Senate Bill 342, Senate Bill 344, Senate Bill 370, Senate Bill 371, and Senate Bill 429. That's the calendar for day 38, which is, hold on one second. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I move that pursuant to Rule 33.3, we limit debate to 1 hour on all bills on the calendar today, and the discretion, that we determine at discretion of the Speaker.
What about tomorrow?
We can do tomorrow too, if you'd like to include
Okay.
that.
Well,
I
since
just like doing that every day.
Okay, this is the, we've got that, okay, we got that motion on to all, bills on the floor limit, debate to 1 hour. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Okay, all opposed, raise your right hand. Opposed. 1, 2, 3, 8, 4, 5. Okay, it carried. It's on. All in favor say aye. Okay, it's on. Okay, you want to do tomorrow? You want to do these? Sure. Okay, go ahead.
Move that pursuant to Rule 33.3 that we limit debate to 1 hour on each bill to be determined at discretion of the Speaker.
And that's Wednesday, day 38. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. All in favor, raise your right hand. What'd you get? 24? All opposed, right hand. Okay, that passed. Limit debate to 1 hour from tomorrow's calendar. Meeting adjourned.